Raposa, Director of Communications at the Hawaii State Senate. Each week, we'll be giving you a chance to hear directly from state senators about issues and concerns here at the state capitol. This Wednesday marks the opening day of the 30th legislative session, and here to talk to us about what's coming up in this session is Senator Jay Kalani English, who is the Senate Majority Leader. He represents the 7th District, which includes Hana, East and Upcountry Maui, Molokai, Lanai, and Kaho'olawe. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning.
What is coming up in the session? What are you looking forward to as some of the highlights just coming in from the start?
You know, we have a promising session ahead of us. We had 4 new senators get elected, so that's 1/6 of the Senate, and they bring a wealth of information, wealth of knowledge with them. You know, Drew Kanuha has come from the Big Island, and he was the former chair of the Hawaii County Council, so a lot of experience there. Senator Kehokalole comes from the House, you know, with a pretty progressive agenda, a lot of experience. So he'll be heading our technology committee. Senator Moriwaki was elected from the Kaka'ako, Waikiki area. Brings a lot of background in energy, but also community organizing. And we have Senator Flavella, who's our one minority. He's wonderful to work with. His family is from Hali'imaile on Maui, so of course we know everybody in common. So we look forward for a very dynamic session.
You also lost some kind of key members. How do you think the Senate will be able to fill in some of those holes?
Well, you know, the Senate is the only continual body in Hawaii. That means that, you know, there's always half are up for election, half remain. So it's the only body that continues all the time. So it's within our system to have these types of changes. Our leadership looks for expertise. We look for what people are interested in, what values and what experiences they bring, and then try to assign them to those committees. However, you know, we also understand that, you know, we have to learn different things. I always describe to the committee chairs, it's like you're doing an advanced, either a graduate degree or a postgraduate degree in any subject. So when someone gets assigned to a committee, you know, I always tell them, look, take advantage of learning everything you can about that subject matter. You'll come out an expert.
Now, you have a lot of issues facing the state right now. Some of them are continuing issues. Then we have new issues that come up, like the question of recounts in close elections. How does the Senate determine its priorities for the session?
Well, let me take the first part of that question. The Senate has, for the last couple of years, passed very significant legislation for recounts, dealing with recounts. We've sent it to the House twice, and you know, the House chose not to act on those bills. So they'll be reintroduced. I'm sure they'll pass the Senate and they'll go to the House again. In listening to them, I see that the voter recounts and voter reform, election reform is one of their issues. So I hope this year that, you know, the bill that we've passed for the last few years and sent to them will get passed by the House.
And then in terms of the other priorities with all of the issues like homelessness and housing?
Yeah, so actually, you know, the Senate, we have a consensus-based way of making decisions, and you know, very quickly what I do is I ask each senator to give me their top 2 issues that they're hearing in their district. So there's a big difference of, you know, what I want in my district and what I'm hearing. I put that on a grid. We sit down with the grid with, you know, normally 50 ideas. And we look at where the clusters are, you know, what rises to the top. And then from that, we develop what's called a Senate legislative program. And then from the program, we ask each senator to now incorporate these principles and these ideas into all of their bills. We also ask those that are applying for 42F grant and aids from the states to follow the same format. So last year we adopted the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals. It's a global framework. Since then, the 4 counties have adopted it. The governor has issued an executive order, which means the executive departments are all implementing it. Many businesses have adopted it and are starting to move ahead, as well as a great number of nonprofit organizations. So for instance, the Hawaii Community Foundation, which gives out millions and millions of dollars in grants a year, is using the SDG as one of their basis. So this year we adopted our Senate legislative program, and what we did was we concentrated on 7 issues. So these are grounded in that matrix that I talked about earlier. And we concentrated on things like sustainable cities and communities, number 11. Number 12, responsible consumption and production. Again, dealing with real life issues. This one, the cesspool issue, dealing with waste and recycling. That's number 12. Number 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. Of course, good governance, good policies, voter recounts. All of those things are embedded in this. Number 8, decent work and economic growth. Again, making sure that we have a smart workforce that's ready to enter into the workforce. Number 4, quality education. Of course, we all want better education.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Number 3, good health and well-being. Dealing with the opioid crisis, looking at how we curb the amount of prescriptions being written, how we track people that are going to different doctors to get multiple prescriptions. And finally, number 17, partnerships for the goals, which simply means that we want public-private partnership. We're looking at things like how do we partner with, when we give out the grants, we're actually partnering with those nonprofits to accomplish. So we adopted 7 of the 17 goals, but we are still implementing all 17.
So that's both for short-term action, but also for long-term planning.
Yes, exactly. What we're looking at is, what we can do right now. And then what we're also looking at is how do we lay a groundwork for the future. So we're trying to provide good leadership. We're trying to provide good guidance to the general population, to our own members, and to the way we govern, so that everyone knows what the goals are, everyone knows how to achieve this. If you go to the HawaiiSenateMajority.com, you can pull down this particular piece. And if you really want to go in depth, go to sustainabledevelopment.un.org/SDGs. It seems fairly simple, but behind these 17, there's huge amounts of matrix and measurements and measurable outcomes that you can see on the UN website.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Senator. Thank you for joining us, and join us next time on Live at the Legislature.